On Protege, 0 and 189, 626-0209. Now! B2300 SE, 0 and 209. Counting down. 0 down ends January 2nd.
Happy holidays from KATU Spirit 2.
In Bosnia put to the test, a deadline for opposing forces to pull back in Sarajevo. Day 12 of the budget crisis, empty offices, smaller paychecks, and still no negotiations. And after a rowdy football game, New Yorkers are asked, do you know this man? The answer is worth $1,000.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight, Renee Poussin.
Good evening. A major milestone has been passed in Bosnia today, exactly 1 week after NATO formally took over peacekeeping duties from the United Nations. Government and Bosnian Serb forces were faced with a deadline. Pull back your troops from key positions around the capital, Sarajevo, and identify your landmines. The deadline was tonight. In Bosnia, here's ABC's Linda Patillo.
In the center of Sarajevo, the Jewish cemetery was a front line for 3.5 years of war. Hundreds of young soldiers died defending their city here. Today, the trenches were empty. We've all pulled out, said this Bosnian government soldier. You can see it for yourself. And you could see it throughout this war-torn city today. In the suburb of Krasnica, where the shelling was once relentless, NATO forces buried trenches with truckloads of dirt. And in the Dobrinja neighborhood, where thousands of residents nearly starved to death, trapped between warring sides, French soldiers patrolled the former front lines. The only explosions heard in Sarajevo today were the result of the French clearing mines. There were also encouraging signs in the American sector in northern Bosnia. Just yesterday, a Serb infantry squad manned this observation post that looks out over the U.S. soldiers. This morning, the Serb commander turned it over to this American lieutenant.
He pulled me in there and gave me the guided tour of the area and welcomed us to use it.
Just down the road in a battle-scarred building surrounded by American soldiers and armor, the top U.S. commander met with all three warring factions. There was a reason, the Americans said, for choosing a building surrounded by trenches and mines.
To kind of symbolize the horrors of war and get on with the burdens of implementing the peace treaty.
The three sides traded maps that show where 500,000 mines have been planted, a step not just towards peace, but towards ensuring the safety of U.S. soldiers as well. The welcome has been warm so far, and the American soldiers have crossed the front lines without incident in this area that saw some of the worst fighting of the Bosnian War. Linda Patillo, ABC News, in the American-patrolled sector of Bosnia.
Still in Bosnia, the U.S. military announced today it is putting 2 radar systems in Sarajevo for the coming month. The radar can pinpoint the source of incoming artillery so that NATO could retaliate. And there was a close call today for French troops in Bosnia. Heavy rains caused a dam to burst near the city of Mostar, completely flooding their encampment. It all happened so suddenly, the French troops were forced to evacuate by helicopter. Another major new set of international peace negotiations is underway today here in the United States. The Israelis and Syrians are sitting down together in a small town called Y on Maryland's eastern shore. Here's ABC's Jack Smith.
Syrian and Israeli negotiators drove to Y Plantation, 50 miles from Washington.
We thought that the surroundings would provide the kind of atmosphere that we believe the delegates will need to make a little progress.
And progress is possible. Syrian President Hafez al-Assad, who's made a career out of opposition to Israel, Saturday said on speeding up the peace process, Syria supports this. And Israeli Prime Minister Shimon Peres yesterday allowed he was happy about the new tone. At issue is the 467-square-mile Golan Heights Israel seized from Syria in the 1967 and 73 wars. For years, Syria fired artillery from the heights into Israeli settlements. But with Israel's neighbors making peace, Syria became increasingly isolated. And in Israel, the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin brought to power Shimon Peres, more willing than his predecessor to trade land for peace.
It all combines to a new policy, a new approach on the part of Israel. And Mr. Assad surely felt that he has to respond.
A settlement would add to the administration's foreign policy achievements in the upcoming election year, but more importantly, it would end nearly half a century of war in the dangerous Middle East. Jack Smith, ABC News, the State Department.
Things continue to move quickly on the Israeli-Palestinian front. Today, the Israeli military withdrew from the Palestinian town of Ramallah, the last of 6 major towns on the West Bank that Israel had promised to leave by year's end. When we come back, the other news, a dangerous old drug gets a new following in the United States. Making it in the workplace of the 90s, our American Agenda survival guide, and tracking down the bad eggs in a big crowd.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Maytag.
There it is, just like I said. They say he's been in there for years, all alone. He just sits there, day after day, waiting. I've never seen him go out. Ever?
Maytag washers last longer than any other brand, with few repairs. That's why a Maytag repairman is so lonely. It's scary.
When the pressure and bloating of painful gas ties you in knots, don't make the antacid mistake. Take this little pill instead. Maximum Strength Phazine. There's more gas relief in one Phazine soft gel than in a whole bottle of regular Maalox. All this Maalox can't get rid of gas, but with the liquid medicine in just one Phazine soft gel, the gas is gone. Take Phazine, and the gas is gone.
A story about drugs and death from California. 3 children, ages 1, 2, and 3, were killed yesterday in an explosion. Police think that their home was being used as an illegal lab to make methamphetamine, also called speed, a drug that in many areas is replacing crack as a quick and cheap way to get high. Here's ABC's Carol Lynn.
First, there was fire.
There was the gray, dark smoke coming up out of the mobile.
Then the explosion.
By the time I got up there, there was nothing that could be done.
In the wreckage of the mobile home, investigators found the remains of 3 toddlers burned beyond recognition. A woman and 2 men who'd been in the trailer were hospitalized. Officials say volatile chemicals and equipment used to manufacture methamphetamine were found in the rubble. Methamphetamine can easily be manufactured with mail-order or store-bought chemicals, but they are highly explosive when mixed. Craig Hammer is an undercover agent with the California Department of Justice.
Something as innocuous as an open cigarette could ignite that and cause a flash-type fire.
The explosion of what appeared to be a laboratory is the dangerous side effect of what California officials are calling a methamphetamine epidemic. After finding and closing down more than 200 meth labs this year alone, state officials expect their caseload to triple by next summer. Unfortunately, they say many labs are discovered only after there's been a fire, and there have been dozens in California this year alone. And often children are the tragic victims. 3/4 of the time that suspects are arrested at suspected meth labs, children are with them. As for this tragedy, local police have yet to arrest anyone, but because they suspect that this was the site of a methamphetamine lab, they are now treating this as a homicide case. Carol Lynn, ABC News, Riverside County, California.
This is Tim O'Brien. Drug enforcement officials blame the dramatic rise in the use of methamphetamines on the easy availability of the drug's ingredients. Most can be bought over the counter or easily imported, and the chemistry is simple. It can be done at home. Simple, but dangerous.
It's a very dangerous setting in which this drug is produced by virtue of the fact that it's so volatile, so flammable, prone to explosion.
Dangerous to make, also dangerous to use, increasingly so. The number of deaths caused by methamphetamine overdose in Los Angeles between 1992 and 94 shot up more than 200%. In Phoenix, more than 500%. More than 700 people died last year alone, and increasingly, the victims of these overdoses are also children.
It's now moving from being a drug that's predominantly used by motorcycle outlaw gangs or people associated with them into middle class, upper middle class, junior high school, colleges.
In many places, methamphetamine costs about the same as crack cocaine, but users are finding the effects can last 10 times longer.
You get lots of energy, talk a lot, you're awake, always moving, paranoid.
Methamphetamine, sometimes called speed, has been around for a long time, but never have the ingredients been so powerful or so readily available. Drug enforcement officials say that combination could turn what is already an epidemic in some parts of the country into a new national drug crisis. Tim O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
In a courtroom on the Japanese island of Okinawa today, one of the 3 American servicemen on trial for abducting and raping a 12-year-old girl implicated his 2 colleagues. Navy seaman Marcus Gill says despite their claims that he intimidated them into participating, they were willing accomplices. His description of the rape was so graphic, at one point the courtroom translator broke down and cried. When we come back, good news for lovers of art, but that was about the only good news on the budget story today.
Sunday, January 28th, on TV, the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol will surprise a new $10 million winner.
I'm really speechless.
If you enter now, the winner could be you.
My dad has been my dentist since my first tooth has come in. This is the first toothpaste that he's ever sent me.
This is Tartar Control Mentadent with fluoride, baking soda, and peroxide. Mentadent helps stop tartar before it forms. Tartar Control Mentadent.
It has everything.
Okay, let's meet at Red Lobster in an hour.
Red Lobster?
This holiday season, the place to meet is Red Lobster, where for a short time you can enjoy our ultimate feast with all your favorites on one plate. Succulent rock lobster, roasted shrimp, tender snow crab, and large golden fried shrimp. It's the ultimate feast, but hurry, it ends soon. Happy holidays from Red Lobster. And for your holiday parties, enjoy party platters to go.
Discover the feeling of Fixodent Fresh. A stronger, longer hold, a more secure, fresh approach to wearing dentures. And the fresh sensation gives you the confidence to live life without limits. Try a fresh approach.
What are you sending?
It's for Carlos.
In California?
It's a book about maturity.
You can't buy a book about maturity?
AT&T True Reach Savings saves you 25% on all kinds of U.S. calls on your AT&T phone bill when you spend just $25 a month.
Even 2,000 miles away, Jimmy. Privacy? I'm gonna call you day and night, every hour.
Every hour? True Reach Savings. That's your true choice. AT&T.
I'm going to put something in front of you, Kathleen, okay? What do you smell?
I don't smell anything.
That's a bad cold you got there. I have a nasal spray I want to give you. Now, what do you smell?
I smell orange.
Yeah.
This is wild. Tristan.
Tristan 12-hour nasal spray.
This stuff works.
Tonight, did your tax dollars fund an assassin in a foreign army? This widow says her husband's murder was ordered by this officer on the CIA payroll.
It was a brutal killing.
Yeah.
Major primetime expose tonight.
In Washington today, no news is bad news. There may be some serious meetings about balancing the federal budget later this week, but in Washington today, it was less like a work day, more like another holiday. Here's ABC's Jim Wooten.
On the 12th day of the Christmas shutdown, no glad tidings yet for federal personnel still furloughed or, like this lonely housing and urban development staffer, working without pay through this none-too-happy holiday season. Only a few creatures were stirring in the House, and the Senate met for all of 14 minutes.
I further announce that the Senate will be in tomorrow for a pro forma session only.
That means no business. Elsewhere in the Capitol, with a few tourists around, a few support staff members did discuss possible budget talks tomorrow and Friday. Senator Dole, campaigning out in Iowa, said he's not going to compromise.
We're going to stick to our guns. We're going to insist on a balanced budget and hope that people understand.
Although most Washington tourist attractions were still closed, the National Gallery reopened its exhibition of paintings by the Dutch master Vermeer, thanks to $30,000 in private funds, none of which changes anything for 280,000 federal workers sent home and 480,000 others, including federal prison guards, on the job but unpaid since the partial shutdown. A private radio hotline is getting a lot of calls.
Right, you're concerned about receiving only half a paycheck, but yet having your full pay period deductions. Is that correct?
The answer is yes. The next salary checks will include only 1 week's earnings, but 2 weeks' worth of deductions for insurance, savings, and other contributions. A few employees could get 0. Still, most government workers are on the job and are getting paid, including, surprise, the folks at the IRS. They were busy today mailing out the 1995 income tax forms. Jim Wooten, ABC News, Washington.
Now to the private sector. We've put jobs on the American agenda tonight, and one of the most frightening words for a worker, downsizing. That is, companies which cut their expenses by cutting jobs. The workplace of the 1990s does require some new survival skills. Our agenda reporter is Jackie Judd.
Whether real or imagined, there used to be a sense of security in the workplace. Absent a major blunder, a worker could expect steady employment. That's long gone. Mergers, layoffs, downsizing have created a new workplace ethic called the Compact.
The deal between employers and employees has moved from a parent-to-child relationship to a more equal partnership. Workers are expected to take on more responsibility, to stay current, to push harder.
Nobody knows that better than the workers at General Motors.
You see 10,000 people here, and all of a sudden you're down to just over 2,000. That's frightening.
Since there's only one, just use your tap key.
Those who have survived the layoffs go through almost constant training, which is at the core of the Compact. Between 1983 and 1991, there was a 45% increase in training offered in American companies. General Motors has an obvious self-interest. Smarter workers mean better workers and better products.
Years ago, we have an old saying, you used to come through the gate and you checked your brain. Now they want you for your brain.
Training also fulfills that part of the Compact which says a company cannot guarantee lifetime employment any longer, but it can make sure a worker is employable elsewhere.
We've had a rude awakening as to what lies out there. If you don't do anything to prepare for the future, the same thing could possibly happen to us, and we're not going to allow that to happen.
AT&T. Workers at AT&T used to call their company Ma Bell, in part because it could be home for a lifetime. But that protective family feeling is gone.
AT&T?
Last year, out of a workforce of 309,000 people, AT&T laid off 10,000. The downsizing has been going on since the original breakup of the company in 1984. And to survive, employees are now having to manage their own careers.
It became very obvious that I was going to have to be proactive in my own career, in my own development and personal growth in order to survive.
Workers who can't cope with that added stress and uncertainty become prime layoff candidates. But the Compact rewards aggressive workers like John Scott, a 22-year veteran. He's been given more independence. He calls the shots. For example, Scott now sets product prices on his own.
Once we're on the court, if I want to shoot a three-pointer, I'll shoot it. And if I miss it, there are ramifications, but I'll take care of that.
I think the internet can do this, though.
Even the language has changed. Bosses are coaches. Employees are associates.
Being called an associate versus being called an employee shows that I'm a valued team member. Whereas if I were an employee, I could just kind of show up.
One of the unanswered questions about the Compact is what happens to company loyalty? Surveys show that in general, loyalty has declined. And the Compact does seem to breed a greater loyalty to oneself than to the company.
I think that I'm willing to invest in this company as long as the company's willing to invest in me.
For you, it's very much a two-way street.
Definitely, definitely.
What companies such as AT&T and GM have created is a tougher world. It also is a more honest one, in which each side has a better idea of what's expected of them to survive. This is Jackie Judd for the American Agenda.
When we come back, snowballing problems for some rowdy New York Giants football fans.
And you travel a lot.
All across America, big cities, small towns.
And you meet lots of people, right?
Everywhere I go.
What do they say about our sweepstakes?
They all ask the same thing. When are you going to hand me the $10 million prize?
And now you can say,
how about $11 million? That's $1,000 a day, every day, year after year after year. You can get rich this fast.
Be sure to enter the only sweepstakes with our picture. You may have the $11 million winning number right now.
Nicorette, I found out about it from my doctor.
Nicorette is nicotine gum. It's serious medicine, and only your doctor can prescribe it for you.
So why not talk with your healthcare professional and find out whether Nicorette is right for you?
The new Ford Taurus. When seen, it leaves an impression. When driven, creates a stir. When owned, lives up to its promise. And when judged, wins award after award after award after award. The new Ford Taurus, the success story that never ends.
Making the dream come true.
Everybody has morning breath. Unfortunately, not everybody has scope.
I'm glad you made it to the reunion.
Oh, I can't believe it's been 20 years.
You okay?
I could use some Tylenol.
Here.
Oh, ibuprofen? No, I can't. I had an ulcer. Really? My husband had an ulcer. Oh, he should be careful. My doctor says ibuprofen can aggravate an ulcer. Tylenol just works great.
If you're using ibuprofen, Tylenol may be safer for you. Talk to your doctor.
20 years later, you're still giving me the answers.
Are you ever going to listen?
The New York Giants football team is looking for some bad apples today. Last weekend, much of the nation watched an astounding scene on television. Unruly fans hurling chunks of snow and ice at anything that moved on the field, injuring more than a dozen people. 15 people were arrested, 175 ejected. Now it's time for identification and punishment. Here's ABC's Armin Katayan.
The ugly episode unfolded during the last quarter of the Giants' season-ending loss to the San Diego Chargers on Saturday, as hundreds of unruly fans pelted players, TV crews, and game officials with rock-hard balls of snow and ice. Chargers equipment manager Sid Brooks, standing on the sideline, was hit and knocked unconscious for several scary moments, one of more than 24 injuries.
It was definitely an embarrassment, not only for the New York Giants fans, but for the NFL overall.
Looking for a way to punish the fans who fired the snow and ice balls, the Giants decided to hit them where it hurt the most. Using ticket stubs from fans who were ejected, as well as surveillance video and news photos, the club said it would permanently revoke the subscription of season ticket holders who took part in the barrage, or gave their tickets to those who did.
People say this is unprecedented. Well, my response to that is what took place in the stands on Saturday afternoon was unprecedented.
The team even went so far as to offer a $1,000 reward for the name of this man, whose picture was plastered across the front page of 2 New York papers today. Some 500 fans called in. 15 identified him. Giants season tickets are among the most coveted in sport, passed like family heirlooms from one generation to the next. Alan Simon, who was not involved, has had season tickets in his family for more than 60 years.
People would rather lose a car or a vacation, perhaps, because those can be easily replaced.
And dozens of season ticket holders may also easily be replaced. Some 15,000 Giant fans are waiting for those suddenly vacant seats. Armin Katayan, ABC News, New York.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrials lost about 4 points today to close at 5105. On the NASDAQ market, stocks lost about a point. From France today, the final installment on a bad investment. Some background first. In France, apartments can be so scarce that investors often purchase the leases of elderly tenants in order to take over the apartment when they died. When Jean Calment was 90, an investor who was 47 at the time bought her lease for $500 a month. That was 30 years ago. The investor died today at age 77. without ever getting her apartment. Mrs. Calment, the oldest woman in the world, will be 121 in February. We'll be back in a moment.
I'm 62. Can I still help prevent osteoporosis?
It's never too late for Caltrate. Caltrate Plus has the extra calcium you need, plus 6 nutrients essential for healthy bones, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
Maxwell House introduces new Irish cream cappuccino in 4 easy steps. Delicious. New Irish cream cappuccino, only from Maxwell House.
My wife's an outstanding dentist. She said, you have to try Mentadent toothpaste.
Mentadent is the only fluoride toothpaste with baking soda and peroxide in a pump.
There were these tiny bubbles that get between the teeth. It was like a shot of fresh air.
Mentadent.
It works.
I want to give her the check. You did it last time. It's my turn. We're the Police Patrol and he just won $1 million. I can't believe it.
Kids, I told you not to believe everything you see on TV.
I'll get it. Mom!
The Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes. Play it for real.
Raymond, you look constipated.
Here we go.
You should take Phillips Milk of Magnesia.
Says who?
For gentle overnight relief, doctors say they'd take Phillips Milk of Magnesia most. Raymond.
Told you.
Phillips. Doctors know best.
I'm Paul Lindman. News of the Northwest coming up. Building closures are becoming epidemic in downtown Vancouver as a result of a November fire. We'll show you why. And he worked hard to buy half of his Christmas present, only to have it stolen on Christmas Day at 6:30.
And I said it. Finally tonight, a reunion between a mother and son. A son who was taken from her, allegedly kidnapped a dozen years ago. Through those years, the mother continued to search for her child, and last week, with the help of a neighbor and a computer, she got him back. The story from ABC's Dean Reynolds.
They are together now, mother and child, after 12 long years apart.
I feel real happy to be back with my mom. I know it should have been like this a long time ago. I should have never been lied to and kept away from her for 12 years.
Bo Arsenault was 1 year old in 1983 when he was allegedly abducted from his Louisiana home by his own father during a custody dispute. Authorities say Vaughn Arsenault took his child on a transcontinental odyssey, changing names as well as addresses to keep Bo away from his mother. For the last 3 years, the boy has lived here with his father in this dilapidated trailer, without hot water, heating, or air conditioning, and frequently reduced to sleeping on the floor.
You know, if it hadn't been for Candy, the FBI told us he would have never been found.
Candy is Candy Slack, Bo's neighbor in Austin, Texas, where Bo was moved ultimately by his father. Over the past few months, Candy let the boy use her computer and detected a recurring theme in his online chats.
Just talking about wishing he had a mom and that his mom dumped him, and he was told that his mother didn't care about him.
All of that made Candy suspicious.
I thought that his mother would have to be dead not to at least wonder if he was even alive.
You think that you saw a missing child?
Candy decided to call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and told them of the boy who lived down the road.
They gave that information to the case manager that was handling that case, which is the normal procedure. And as soon as he saw the information, he says, oh, yeah, he says everything fits.
With additional help from the FBI, Becky and Bo were reunited last week, and by yesterday, he and his old friend Fido seemed to be adjusting easily to their new surroundings. He took a long way to get there, but Bo has finally made it home. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Austin, Texas.
That's our report on World News Tonight. Later, prime time. I'm Renee Poussaint for all of us here at ABC News.